Today we are doing the end of 6.2, beginning of 6.3, separable differential equations. I call them initial value problems. They are often 5 out of the 9 points on one of the free response questions. They're a big deal. And if you don't start it correctly, the grading rubric always says 0 out of 5 if they do not do this step first. So there's some things. There's a lot of times when they're like, okay, some partial credit, this, that, and the other, but if you do not start these right, you are hosed. So the homework is day 64, which hopefully we'll do in class. It's just 3 problems, but there is a delta math as well, required delta math. On doing the initial value problems, and I want you to get the immediate feedback from the delta math. There is a quiz on integration in a week, minus a day because it's Monday. Today feels like a Monday, like January is the month of Monday. Worst Monday ever. But it's Tuesday, and then a chapter 6 test on January 20, like whatever schedule disruptions or whatever we need to hit that day. And then your midterm is January 25th, which I believe is a Thursday, and grades are due like on the 26th. And if this date has to move for the chapter 6 test, it just means we will have less time to go over the midterm review, but you all should have the midterm review. Does anybody not have it? Okay, so I gave it to you guys before break, and the answer key is posted already, like up on Canvas, and be careful after problem number 20, some of the numbers are wrong because I cut 3 or 4 problems off of an old review. So the numbers get messed up. As Teddy and Willem said, this one is effectively, could you split it up? Yeah, it's 3 different integrations. So Adam, what is the integral of this first one?
Is it just 3 times ln of x minus 5? So it has the value.
Jail bars. And then divide by the derivative of the stuff inside, which is 1, so it didn't really do anything. Yeah. Annie, what's the integral of sine 7x?
Negative cosine 7x over 7.
So whose derivative is positive sine? Well, that's negative cosine. And then integrating, we divide by the derivative of the stuff inside. Ava, you got the last one?
Negative e to the negative 5x over negative 5.
And then the negative over negative. And then one last thing.
Plus c.
Plus c. This one gets a plus c, this one doesn't. Henry, why does the first one have a plus c and the second one's not going to?
Oh, you mean that problem?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Henry. Why do I know this one, like without even doing the problem, this one's going to have a plus c and that one next to it is not?
Oh, it's because of the numbers, or the variables.
Yep. Because this has no numbers in indefinite, we don't know where it is. We don't know what the vertical shift is.
So wait, so definite is that number, or numbers indefinite?
Definite is with numbers. Indefinite is, I have this curve. What's the area under it? So it depends on how high it is. Jillian, do you remember how to do this integration?
Not particularly, but I tried.
Okay. What was your strategy?
I just plugged in 8 and then subtracted what. And
I gotta integrate it first. I can't just plug in 8 first.
What I did wrong.
Millen,
U substitution,
U substitution, what would you choose the U value to be?
ln x is u. And so it was 1 over x times 1 over u times the x. And then
Okay, hang on. So Millen said choosing natural log of x, that's his U value. Derivative of U is 1 over x dx. So ln x is U, that goes in the denominator. The stuff that's left was dx over x, which happens to exactly be du. But we need to translate one other thing. What is that?
you translate the bounds to the new u instead of x.
So when x is 8, what does u equal?
ln 8.
And when x is e,
Just 1. I don't know ln. I think it's 1.
e to what power is e to the first? 1. Okay, good. Yeah. Lucas, what now?
Now you integrate it.
Awesome. Do that.
I guess.
Integral of 1 over x,
It's ln u.
ln. And technically the jail bars go on it, but 1 is positive, natural log of 8 is positive, so I'm not going to put them there. So Anna, what now?
ln of 8 minus ln of 1.
What is ln of 1? 0.
Can we simplify ln of 8 at all?
Yeah.
What would ln of 0 be?
Undefined. Can't do it. All right, Mika, this second one. We're imagining gravity is going in the positive direction is down. Acceleration at 2 is 32. Velocity at 2 is 10. Position at 2 is -5. How do I find the position function? What is the relationship of position, velocity, and acceleration?
Well, position or velocity is the derivative of position, and then acceleration is the derivative of velocity.
Okay, so I need to undo derivatizing. How do I do that?
So first you would integrate the acceleration to find the rate of change of the velocity. Or
So velocity is the integral of acceleration. I agree.
plus c.
Okay, so integrating is 32 powerful, just t,
T, yeah,
and you said plus c.
plus c, and then since we know at 2 velocity is 10, then we can find out that we can find that c.
All right, so using this one, velocity at 2 is 10. So my general equation for velocity is 32t minus 54. All right, Coy, what do I do next? So position is the integral of that velocity. So what is it integrated? And solving for that s sub 0, what do I do? So the position function is 16t squared minus 54t minus 49, if I did my arithmetic right. Did I?
Thanks. 39.
Okay. Negative, added over, became positive. 39.
Negative 44 minus 5.
Okay, go me. All right, so that's a reminder of just integrating in general and not forgetting plus C, giving you information about how to solve for that plus C. This is what we're doing today is initial value problems where like, oh, here's this stuff, just integrate it and then anchor it down to the coordinate I gave you. These were the easy ones, hopefully. But again, the month of January is like one big long Monday. So, any questions on these? Yeah. Happiness and joy. Can I turn the page? People are still writing. Okay. This is what the kind of problem is going to look like. Okay, just has sudden look of panic or something. Okay. Here are the ones that if you do not do step 1 correctly, 0 out of 5. Step 1 is separate the variables. And this one I didn't actually give you an initial value, it's just integrate. Zoe Posner, how do I separate the variables? I need the y's with the dy and x's with the dx.
Multiply dx to the other side.
Okay, multiply dx to the other side. But all these y's are there. I need to get rid of them. How do I get rid of them? Divide. Okay, variables separated. That is step 1. If you don't do step 1 correctly, you're screwed. This is right. Then it says solve the problem, which is integrate. Lael will give you the easy one. What's the integral of x?
X squared equals 2.
And I gotta pick one side to put the plus C on. Don't be crazy. Just put it with the x's. Carmen, any suggestion on how I can manage the left side? Okay, what would you make the u value? Just make it root y or cosine squared root y? Just root y? Okay, multiply by the power, lower the power. Okay, that doesn't look so bad. But I still need to look at this differently. How do I integrate, let's see, 1 over dy over root y is 2 du. Cosine squared u. Think about it a second. You might want to rewrite things using just pre-calc. Bobby, do you see it? What do we do with pre-calc? Like, what's that hint mean?
Tree identity.
No.
No, not even. Okay, it's geometry. Well, no. So cosine down here is called what up top?
Secant.
Secant. Cool. Oh. Whose derivative is secant squared? Tangent. Okay, so it wasn't that bad. It just looked funny. Koi, don't give me that look. He's like, all right, now I have x's and u's mixed together. I need to get rid of that u value and put back in what was there. And here's a big concern of mine. You guys are so used to just throwing in x. Please look what you replaced. This was the square root of y. And when we say find the solution or the general solution, this one's not going to have a specific because I didn't give you a coordinate. I need to solve for y. Okay, so gross, how do I get y out of there? Josh, what's your first step? Divide by 2.
Solid.
Do I need to divide this unknown lump by 2 as well? You don't have to. You can. You don't have to. It's an unknown lump of junk. Still an unknown lump of junk.
Just a different C, right?
Yeah, it's half the value of the unknown thing I had before. So what? And here's where people make mistakes. The next piece that I need to undo, Josh said, okay, I can do step 1. I can peel that 2 off like by dividing. How do I get rid of tangent? Tan inverse. And tan inverse goes to the whole thing. C is wrapped up in it. So the mistake that people make, like if you did square root of both sides, it's the whole group including that plus C. If you forgot to add plus C or you were like, oh, I'll just add it later when it's more convenient, it'll mess up here.
What does it mean to inverse tan something?
It's saying what angle makes tangent have this ratio.
So, what things would you apply to C and not apply to C?
Okay, if it's y squared equals 3 plus x, can I just do the square root of each piece?
Yeah.
You square root the entire side.
Oh, yeah.
So things like powers, trig functions, how do I undo this? Natural log, okay. And when I apply natural log to the other side, it's to the whole group. So things that are functions. Adding and subtracting 3 and stuff, that's pretty simple.
If you wanted to, could you divide C by 2?
You can, and again, like, I'll get there. One more thing. Now to finish this is the most gross thing ever. This is my general solution. By general solution means I don't know what the vertical shift is, which actually this one comes out as a phase shift, but
If you were to solve for C, and like you had a
I need to
coordinate,
give you a coordinate.
where, like, could you do all this and set y equals and then solve for C, or would you do it at the very end where it's 2 tan?
Okay, so we'll do some with an actual coordinate. This one, I wanted to bring out like this tricky cosine squared down there, that's secant squared. Oh, we do know how to integrate that, but doing the actual specific solution solves. So I just wanted to point this part out, and now we'll do real ones or other real ones. Other questions on the specifics of this? Yeah.
So on a test, if we do C over 2,
That'd be fine, and we're not gonna stop there. So I'm gonna ask for the specific solution, like this. And in the end, whether you do C over 2 or just C, we should get the same correct answer.
Why is 0? Is the function y of
Why
x?
is y 0? Change when y is 0.
Okay.
X is L. Wait, actually,
I don't think I think it's
no, I don't think that's what that means.
I think it's when x equals 0 and then y is
I think it's when y equals 0. Is that when x is 0, y
Is that when
is
x is 0 or y is 0?
That's the same thing as speaking of the values.
Yeah, so when x is 0, y is L.
It's weird notation, and they do this to you. So first step, when these are worth 5 points, if you do not separate the variables x's with x's, y's with y's, 0 out of 5. If you can get plus C, the most you can get is 2 out of 5. How do I separate these? Is that?
So e to the x minus y becomes e to the x over e to the y, and then you cross multiply and then you get.
Okay, so he said e to the x minus y, pulling those apart, that's e to the x times e to the negative y, which he went straight to saying this. Perfect. Correct first step. Ewan, what do we do with it from there? Now that we have dy over dx equals e to the x over e to the y.
You multiply both sides with equals.
All right. Step 1 done. Griffin, what do I do from here? Okay? Feel free. Integrate those. What is it? E to the y. And I'm missing one piece. Plus C. Okay. 2 of the 5 points, right there. We integrated, well, first we separated the variables correctly, we integrated each piece, and we remembered plus C. Okay, so Lydia, you get the choice. We can either go through and solve for y now, and then plug our coordinate in, or we can plug in our coordinate now. It doesn't matter. Some of you will find it easier going one way than the other. What is your preference? Plug it in now. Yes.
Is there no plus C to the left?
So effectively, I took the unknown pile of junk from this side, moved it to the other side, and I combined them all to just call it C. So no, there's only one. I collected all the unknown junk in one place, and I'm just calling it C. Just one of them. Yeah.
Do you not do e to the y over y because it's like a number? When you're doing the integral.
E to the x dx, integral is e to the x. E to the y dy is e to the y. E to the stuff d stuff is e to the stuff. Okay, so Lydia chose to plug in the coordinate here. And when I do that now when I do things to anywhere, the C value is fixed. Once I plug something in, it is stuck. I need to do all the math operations to each thing. So e to the natural log of 2 equals e to the 0 plus c. Leo, what is e to the natural log of 2? 2. Reese, what is e to the 0?
1.
1. Another common mistake. You're like, oh, everything with 0 is 0, you know? So what does this make c, Zoe? 1. All right. For me, I do the little asterisk. I write the coordinate that I put in there so that I know where I'm coming back to. My function, e to the y equals e to the x plus 1. I'm not finished. I need to get y. So, Connor, what's the math operation that undoes this? ln. Okay. Natural log of e to the y is y. Here is your specific solution or your particular solution. They'll use a couple of different words. Yeah.
Can you do natural? You can't do. You just said that. Never mind.
Yeah, it's not natural log of e to the x plus natural log of 1, because then that would just be y equals x. This is super, super seriously not y
But you
equals
can't
x.
do natural log of 1 too.
Well, natural log of 1 is 0. But it's to the whole group. It's this chunk together.
Yeah.
Can't split it up. What else? Okay. So there's nothing super new. It's just combining a lot of old. Like a lot of old. Okay. Now it gets fancier. You have choices. You guys hate choices. Give it a try.
Why does it say 1?
Shut up. Ask you, just do it. Does anyone have step 1 done? Put up? No? Oh, that's right. I love your confidence. Here you go. So you get to decide which way we go. I don't know. There's a lot of pressure. Okay, and that's a 1. It just hiccuped and looked like a T. Okay. Boom. Okay. What do you guys think?
That's exactly what I said.
All right.
It doesn't matter where you put the 4.
That was my next question. All right. Henry just said, so it doesn't matter where you put the 4, right? No. And because I know where this is going, it's harder with the 4 where it is now, but it's not wrong at all. So step 1, separation of variables. Yay. Step 2, integrating. And then you wanna do one side?
No, I'm not, I don't want to.
Okay.
Can you take out the 1/4 and you integrate it?
Sure. Anna says, don't like that 4 there. Can we do that? Sure. Volunteers? Mikhail? He's not paying attention to you, Teddy.
I know, I just that down.
Now that we broadcast things. Hey, Ewan, how you doing? Okay, so raising the power from -1/2 to +1/2, dividing by that 1/2. This is why I said it was harder. 1/4 divided by 1/2 is really 1/4 times 2, which is that +1/2. Oh, and then skipping the whole U substitution business because we did it on an earlier problem. That's why we'll say, like, okay. On a test, you need to show me the work to doing from here to there. We did just do stuff. So the work would be the integral of u du, which is raise the power, divide by the new power, and then plus c, and then substituting back in. So I do, for a quiz or a test, I do need to see this stuff in red. I realize some of you can see through it. I need to see that. All right. So that's like 3 or 4 of the 5 points. Can someone solve for C and get Y by itself? Okay. Look done. What?
I kept the 4 on the end.
Okay, doesn't matter. Like, okay, here's one thing. Right now, if I multiply everybody by 2.
Yeah.
If I multiply everybody by 2, I get the square root of y equals natural log of x squared plus c. I did not double the c and I don't have to. Yeah. Okay. What's the next thing that I need to do? Okay. Squaring everybody.
Well, you can plug it in first, wouldn't that be easier?
Okay. So so Julian, here we have choices. Teddy said square it, and you are saying to plug it in. Both are correct things.
I think I'm more correct.
Well, they both have challenges to choosing this option. This one, I've got this natural log inside squared that I need to put the plus c and then square all of that parentheses as a group. And now I'm going to plug in the coordinate when x is e, y is 1. So plugging in y is 1, natural log of e squared plus c squared. What is the natural log of e? 1. What is 1 squared? 1. All right. What?
There's 2 answers here.
Do we have 2 answers here? We do. What are my 2 answers? I'm curious, guys. How do you solve this from here? Anna, what's your question?
It's
0 and -2.
Wait, why, isn't it easier to keep the one?
Whichever path we took, it was going to suck. Like, it would be a challenge either way. So, Melon, how would you have done this?
Square root of those sides and -1/1, 1 plus c, and then you get 0 or -2.
We go to 6.2 or 6.3.
Okay, so either C is -2 or C is 0. Let's see. So y equals natural log of x squared plus 0, or and let's see, do both work? In this case, they do both work. Okay, so okay, guys, comment about this. There's only one particular answer that they're going to want. This one, sometimes when you plug in and you get a negative and a positive, there's only one answer that should work. Both of these, though, plugging in that coordinate, because in the end I ended up squaring it, I will get, oh, yeah, these both work and they shouldn't. What? It seems wrong. It does.
How does -2 work? I thought it was supposed
If you,
If you plug in
because you get a
the
different
derivative-
answer if you do one out.
if we plug in E here, we get our coordinate, because it ends up being -1, but then we square it and get +1. So it's plugging it in the derivative. The C value isn't in the derivative. The C value goes away in the derivative.
The derivative of that. That messy thing.
What was that?
The C value would just go away.
Think about that.
And this one ends up being natural log of x all to the 4th. This one, like this is the one that I wanted, but this one, I will have to double check on doing it. Yeah.
If you plug it in before you solve and like get the equation, you only get 0. You don't get -2.
You should get both. If you plug in
Square
first.
it away.
Because when you,
Because you still have to square root.
Yeah.
so, all right. I think there's one more, no, not one more example.
Nah.
I don't actually want to do this one, but think about it. There is a strategy. Divide and conquer. So, reducing, cool. How do we reduce that? How do those exponents work? Subtract. So it would be 4e to the minus, well, there, minus 3 plus 5e to the -5x. So if I asked you to integrate, do the divide and conquer, reduce things, slim it down, and then integrating each of these, not so bad. And then plug in the coordinate 0, 0 and solve. What's the strategy with this one? Is it U substitution? No?
Multiply it out.
Just multiply it out and you get 3x squared minus 9x. Raise the power, divide by the new power. So I just wanted to show you when they look ugly, it might not be that bad. It might require some algebra first. Scary? What? Sarah? No?
Oh, secant. Boom.
Hold on.
So this is U substitution. What's the U value? Tangent. And du is now right there. Okay. When you guys see squared, in particular, cosine squared in the denominator, or Sine squared in the denominator, it's probably cosecant squared, really up top. We have not done reverse product rule, but that is next,
Next week.
like tomorrow.
I accidentally did that.
Okay,
I had no idea.
here are the 3 problems that are textbook homework, but there is also, like I warned you, Delta math.
How many Delta math problems?
I believe 4 problems at level 1 and 2 problems at level 2. Yes.
How hard is this?
It's not
Yeah, because I thought they were both X. I couldn't read.
This final should be.
This guy, you know Sam, took this class online, like in Florida, and got like 3 retakes for the test. So I was just having a class over this summer, did it in like 1 week in class.
You said I gotta take this class in Florida.
No, I might have to just do it.
I
He said it probably took him like 20 hours total.
No, I just checked the
I spent like 20 hours for the test.
Wait. I gotta talk to him.
Yeah, he said it's $500 over like.
Each test takes 20 days off my life.
Wait, but does it count?
Yeah, nothing.
It counts, they don't even see that you did the class. And like, we're probably getting 5 on this. Every school, like, they don't even like.
Wait, so you gotta text me this.
I know, I need to like figure out how to
You
like.
can take it over the summer and
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. No, wait. And then you guys do it.
Oh, wow. I might be actually.
The whole class.
Yeah, where's Sam?
Is it double left tonight?
Yeah.
It's just reply.
What? I'm doing it. Oh, no, wait, what? I'm working on.
Wait, what you did?
Yeah, Julie, text me.
Just have this class.
I got you. Wait, yeah, after class. I did get the food off. I'm very happy.
It's like disgusting.
You gotta eat it, right?
This is also.
I accidentally already undid our.
You already did integration by parts?
Yeah, I went to
Yeah,
go 6.3.
Is this
Oh, okay, got it.
I did two.
So there's a story to it. I call it.
Got it.
You need to make sure for the review, okay?
You can separate this.
For the midterm review, probably.
Start with 30.
Just like the review that I found.
Yeah.